Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity with me, Break It Down. Let's head up. Lilith.
Right.
Shrieking sobs pierce your ears and rattle the musty rafters of the lighthouse. They emanate from the spectral figure of a woman hovering in the middle of the room. Each heave of her shoulders unleashes another hair-raising wail. Get closer. As you approach, the spirit's cries take on a threatening edge. The swirling mist around its legs ripples with movement. The black pits of its eyes level momentarily with yours. Get closer. The spirit's screaming grows louder and louder. Its sunken face distorts, twisting into a long, gaping mouth filled with jagged teeth. If anything were to be able to quell the spirit's rage, it would appear not to be you. Back away. So maybe... there's something up here that can. Logbook. The logbook expels a thick plume of dust. 6 Finalton 2672. Foggy. Port full. 158 days since fighting the Red Dream. 12 Finalton 2672. Heavy rain. 2 fishing boats lost at sea. 164 days since sighting the Red Dream. 1 Tarleton 2672. Dark clouds. Darren ships on horizon. 173 days since sighting the Red Dream.
Huh?
I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment.
Jack of Wide Waters. Ooh, +2 to survival. Kakuma was a famed Amoa swashbuckler and the original wearer of this garment. She sailed from her homeland of Roatai to the infamous Deadfire Archipelago. There, she escorted merchant and passenger ships through pirate-infested waters. Among her most frequent clients were the Nasataki dwarves, who ventured to the continents to the north, of both personal and tribal sojourns. Her fair dealings, bravery in combat, and skill at sea made Kakuma a loved and respected figure in the archipelago and among the Nasataki. Does anybody need... yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark
That
places.
sucks, we can't go up to the top.
I'll see what I can find.
The Deerwood Part 6, The Saints' War and Widewind's Legacy. Okay, in 2807 AI, we'll return to the Deerwood. Saint Widewind, transformed supposedly into a living incarnation of Eothas, marched on the Deerwood from Red Ceres, beginning the Saints' War. The Deerwood rallied at Halgat Citadel and took the battle to him in Red Ceres, attempting to prevent as much damage to their own land as they could. Even though there were devastating losses for the Deerwooden forces, using Hadrit's military techniques combined with Galvin Reg's... I forgot how to pronounce the GD, I think it's just Reg's strategies. They were able to secure a few victories for themselves as well. Red Ceres forces made their way into the Deerwood through White March, unopposed by the locals at Cold Morn, leaving Mercyvale burned and devastated. The contempt the Deerwoodens have for Cold Morn for this betrayal lasts well after the war ends. Desperate to end the war and eliminate Saint Widewind, the Magronic clergy of Deerwood developed a special bomb that was hidden beneath the bridge at Halgat Citadel, intending to lure Widewind to the bridge and then detonate it. The ploy succeeded, and Saint Widewind was completely destroyed, along with most of the forces with him and the entire bridge. The 12 Deerwooden men and women who volunteered to delay Saint Widewind on the bridge were also lost. Their sacrifice and martyrdom celebrated by the Deerwood in the ensuing years. The bomb would come to be known as the Godhammer, and soon after the battle, the citadel was renamed Godhammer Citadel. Saint Widewind's forces were easily routed after his death, and the Deerwood set about rebuilding from the first major conflict in over a century. In retaliation for Saint Widewind's action on Eothas' part, many Eothasian followers were purged from Deerwooden communities or driven out via social pressure. Less than a year after the devastation of the Saints' War, tragedy hit again. In 2809 AI, the first Hollowborn was reported in the Deerwood. Many of these poor creatures died within weeks or months of being born. The outcry from the populace calls for blame or punishment to be leveled against someone, whether it be the gods, the mothers, the government, or the Eothasian followers. Responding to great socio-political pressure to try and help the Hollowborn, Animancers developed a process to transplant animal souls into the infants, that they might develop survival instincts and even a basic personality. The process seemed successful, so it was repeated on tens of thousands of Hollowborn, even though many Animancers disagreed with the technique, worried about the ethical implications. These protests were largely ignored and discounted. The process was soon named Salvation, and the Hollowborn given souls this way were called the Saved. 5 years after the first Hollowborn, an Orland girl is saved. She entered puberty. In a matter of mere weeks, she transformed into a ravenous, feral creature devoid of all conscience. Soon, all the saved would experience the same fate. Each one, upon reaching puberty, would transform into what the locals called wicks, uncontrollable children. After researching the problem, Animancers discovered an incompatibility between the animal souls and the children's bodies. This fueled the parents' anger, as many of them had to kill their wick children. The Animancers responsible were widely denounced, and many of them were dragged from their homes, beaten, and in many cases, killed. Most surviving Animancers left the rural areas en masse and headed to Defiance Bay. Others left the area completely, moving to the Balian Republics to study in peace.
Yeah.
Lilith's Shawl. It's a friendly aura, 5 meters plus 1 stealth, and then plus 3 perception. This cloak feels so light that it's easy to forget you're wearing it. The unmistakable scent of the sea breeze, cool and salty, wafts from the fabric. Though moth-eaten and ragged around the edges, it keeps the chill at bay. Its faded colors seem to blend in with its surroundings. You found this in the Lighthouse of Andra's Gift. The tower had been uninhabited for a century and a half, and its last occupant, the lighthouse keeper, supposedly died there when the Adirans invaded. It was rumored that her spirit haunted the tower still, watching for ships on the horizon.
Huh?
Already read that. Let's get closer. Okay, same description as before. We had an update, didn't we? Okay. Let's get back down and talk to Niah about this. I mean, we could just attack her, but the game is offering us an alternative. My character is rational. If I can deal with this without having to risk my own life to get paid, why wouldn't I?
Good day to you.
So, have you figured out what all the fuss is about? Have you heard of the Red Dream? Who hasn't? It's just been running raids for decades now. She stopped in New Hyamar laden with spoils from Roatai traders. These days, here she spends most of her time prowling the Deadfire Archipelago. Niah points to a ship anchored in the distance. That's her. When she's at port, her captain, an elf named Merowith, takes her shore leave over at the Charred Barrel in Brackenbury. Believe it or not, she likes her creature comforts. She shakes her head. That's what I'm talking about. When a pirate won't even set foot in the tavern on this side of town, It's high time for a new establishment. Alright, well let's head over to Brackenbury.
Sure.
First, one of these homes I thought had camping supplies in it. I forgot to write it down, so I want to replenish my stores before I forget. Maybe is the sound bugging out a bit. Sound like it was skipping. Alright.
Your brother. Long?
We got along how brothers do. He used to throw water on me to wake me up in the morning. I used to fill his boots with stinging ants.
My own brothers and sisters are doing very well for themselves, back in Takoa. I don't know that they'd search for me if I were killed so far from home.
Brothers can be funny. I bet you'd be surprised how far they'd go.
I believe she was on the second floor. I want a company. I go to the Salty Mast. And when Skulltooth catches the candlelight. What is it this time? Someone at the old lighthouse in Andra's Gift was looking for your ship. No one goes near that old place. She leans in, her voice a low hiss. This is your idea of a setup. Think again. I know how this sounds, but I'd waste your time and mine if it weren't true. Her snarl flashes a gold tooth. She turned me out. We're poorer than the fishermen who live there now. She learned I'd put food on our table with stolen coin. Told me that if she ever saw me again, it'd be the mercy of the gods. Her darkened eyes are filled with rage. I had nowhere else to go, and it was a rough life until I rose to captain. She ignored the idea in advance to stay behind. I think she was waiting for you. She turns her eyes away. She's always so stubborn. I forget sometimes where I got it. She gulps down the rest of her wine. I'll go. Perhaps it'll give both of us some peace.
Huh?
Get one thing real quick.
Son of a moose fucker.
I beg your pardon?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Kalu's always
Right.
telling me to watch my language, especially around the kids. Guess I haven't had a reminder in a while.
What happened?
One of them heard me tell a joke about a glam-felon youth with frostbite somewhere sensitive. Kids repeat everything.
I meant just now.
Jam my thumb. Nothing big.
little foggy here. That's cool.
Huh?
Gods keep you.
Here we go. The model rubs a callous thumb over the runes on the opal. This is about the broken scepter. Have you seen anyone come this way carrying a large chest? Come to think of it, I did. He points to the east. They went that way. Couldn't have gotten too far. Alright, for the rest of that. I was wondering about that. So I wonder what that other guy with all the thugs is there for.
I'm here.
Is her sneak being boosted by wearing that? For stealth? Yeah, cool. I wish it showed up here. Even though she's not technically being affected by the aura.
Yeah.
I still like to see the buff listed next to her portrait.
Right.
But I guess so long as it's working, that's all that matters. Wait, is that it? Only to see how things played out?
Huh?
That's disappointing.
Greetings.
Never guess what happened. Niah points to the lighthouse. I was keeping an eye out for you. Who strolls down the dock but Merewith herself? Should have seen the stare she got. She walks right into the lighthouse. Never a word to anyone. Just when I'm sure she's met some awful fate in there, she strolls right out. Still saying nothing to nobody. Okay. And now I'm hearing all sorts of rumors about Merewith and the last lighthouse keeper. She shakes her head. I don't know what to believe. Everyone else around here is convinced that the place is safe again. I've even got a construction crew ready to start work. She takes a deep breath, a big contented smile on her face. And I know I've got you to thank. Here, this is for you. Come back when the renovations are done. I've got big plans for this place.
Don't bother the caddy, Tumak. You'd have better odds against a Stelgar.
So it tells you what you get. So we get a cloak of comfort, 15% experience, a variable amount of copper, and 2 minor items. Oh, it sucks. I can't assign it. It expires in a day, so I can't make it back in time. Is that going to pop up again? I need to find more companions. Need to have a small stockpile back at the, oh, cool, it's done. Those lost in the flood. I never expected to see a massacre such as this in my lifetime. I was in my study, trying to pack up important documents for the evacuation, never dreaming the Adirans would act so drastically. It was my wife, Niah, who first heard the cracking of the levees. We climbed to the roof when the water reached the top of the stairs. My 3 children, Nath, Libelsa, and Kiri, we held. The water reached our chests. The only thing that kept us from getting swept away before it subsided was holding onto the chimney that we had just repaired. Other families were not so lucky. When the waters finally subsided, the roads were littered with debris, mud, and rotting fish. Half the district had been swallowed by the sea. Bodies floated in the tide along with what was left of in the homes. We burned the citizens we found. The poor souls have nobody else to remember them by, so I'll document them here. I'm not sure if they had loved ones who survived the flood, but it is better their names be written down rather than washed away with so much else in this horrific flood. William Bloody Bill Thistlewood, Butcher. Albel Nordenbring, Professor. Ridewolf, Spearman. Star Halfear the Devoted, Priest. Gorth Crimsonblade, Swordmaster. John Graham, City Garrison. Rotok, Prize Hunter. Vaheru, Archivist. Edvar Solinaris, Poet. Magistrum, Tactician. Claude Nothalis, Teacher. Eric Lonovan, Astronomer. Jareth, Archer. Dethok, Undertaker. It's a fitting name. Zan Tidi, or Tidy, Monk. Alvir, Herbalist. Jordy Len, Tanner. Conthrok Conlin, Alchemist. Zatordin, Mage. Gavinius, Knight. Galorian Dragonheart, Politician. It's one of my favorite movies. Not the sequels, just the original. We gotta make that very clear. Ariana Gemstar, Appraiser. Vigoro, Artist. Kaelin Hollowed, Assassin. Lauren Palicus, Physician. Minius Moranus, Duelist. Amanthor, Bodyguard. Dragicus, or Dragicus, Trader. Fenrir, Protector of the Order. Thrawn, Sellsword. Oberon Smith. Marzagal, Barrister. Aaron Cole, Miner. Another fitting name. Ereth, Infantry. Lilith, Lighthouse Keeper. Some of those did sound kind of Kickstarter-y, didn't they?
I'll take a look.
How do you like what I've done with the place? She dusts her hands on her clothing. The rooms are still under construction. I get you food and drink if you'd like. Let's see what you've got.
Yeah.
The rooms are still under construction. I'm assuming that means the top floors haven't been repaired yet. But we'll check. Alright, so people are up here building. I want to take a quick look around, make sure nothing has changed. Alright, so before we go to the eastern side of Andra's Gift, we can go down to the tidal area and see if we can't find the other pieces of that scepter. We'll save this half of Andra's Gift to explore for later. Well, I guess just this like small peninsula. Already explored the homes up here. I don't know if I want to eat that. Oh, hello there.
Brave. This isn't working!
Oops.
Following your
Hey.
following your lead.
Oh, whoops. He's still up and kicking. Got a lot of DR as well, so let's take care of that.
Yes? Sacre!
Yeah.
Fossils cling to the bricks and planks. The shell is sharp enough to cut flesh. Alright, the scepter shaft. This broken shaft looks like part of a scepter. Scribe runes invoke and channel the wielder's essence. Look at the scepter afterwards too, because we did spec Aloth into scepters. That would have been impeccable timing if so. And scepter base. This is like the base of a scepter. It seems to have broken cleanly from the section above it. Should be all we need. Let's finish exploring down here though. They're gonna keep moving. Let's not waste a fireball just yet.
Yes.
Come there. That rough.
Ray. This is
Take him down.
Right.
Whoops. Is that the last piece of the... What's that? Yep, the scepter spike. Select the top portion of a scepter. The short spiraled spike at one end for attaching the video.
Yeah.
Not super familiar with scepter nomenclature. Barnacles encrust the hull of this beached boat. Something the jagged Adra is it Adra? Yeah, Adra fingers, most likely. It's clawed deep rifts into the wood. Whoever tried to sail through them must have been desperate or inexperienced. We know he was both. Hey, there's our chest. A mud squelches underfoot. Crabs scuttle out of the debris.
Nice and quiet.
Alright, I'm going to call the episode here, and the next one will speak to the spirit, because I don't know how much they're going to have to say. And then we'll return to Exodal for the Scepter quest. Then we're going to come back here and deal with these guys, because that... I don't know for sure that it's our chest that we're looking for, but I'm pretty sure. And then after that, we can probably go to the Salty Mast. That's about it for this area. A lot of quests here. Either way, gonna call it here for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.